wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yugara land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place, and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
Good evening, or as it says there, morning, Vietnam. What's that all about? Well, I'll tell you what that's all about. Wencee is in Vietnam, and we will introduce him very soon. And we've had wonderful little technical difficulties, as you can imagine, when you're trying to go live from Vietnam in different areas. I think he's in Ho Chi Minh City, but we'll get some more information from him. Before we go any further, you are listening to the new Blurt. Good evening to you, or good morning, afternoon, or whatever the case may be. This is our penultimate show for 2022. And then next week we'll have our Christmas shows. So that should be a bit of fun. We will have some games and quizzes and all things about Christmas. And it'll be interesting because Wencee will still be in Vietnam. So it'll be interesting what he's doing for Christmas over there. Before I go any further, I'd just like to say I'm coming to you tonight from Wurundjeri country, the Kulin nation of the Woiwurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been and always will be Aboriginal land. On tonight's show, we will be talking all things Vietnamese, including food and politics and social things to do over there and religion and all those sort of things. So it should be a bit of a fun traveling night tonight. And also after that, we're going to have good news. So tonight is all about having a bit of fun, finding out a few things, and keeping ourselves in good spirits, basically. But really, before I do any of that, I need to do something very important, which I do each week. And that is bring in our co-host, Wencee.
Good morning, Vietnam, or good afternoon.
Yes, well, evening for you. But just before you go any further on that, good morning, evening, Vietnam.
Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll.
Very, very, very true. So good evening, Wencee. So
yes, I cannot
you.
do that. So I'm glad you played that one because yes, I cannot imitate him.
No,
likewise. I think we're going to have a bit of a delay today. So with when you're talking and when I'm talking, we might cross over.
Yeah. No, there's a very, very good chance that is going to occur. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. But that's okay. We will just crack on. We've got lots of things to talk about. And before we go into all the Vietnamese stuff, we'll just stick a little bit local at the moment. So we had Samithri on last week, and Samithri from the Oz Institute is a massive Angela Voipierre fan. And so she would be very happy to know that Ange, who, as you know, we had as a guest a couple of weeks ago and was fantastic, just wrote an article on Loab, L-O-A-B. People out there, Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about, and do be a little bit careful when you Google it. Images are a bit weird. Maybe it's not something you want to look at as such, but the article's very good. Anyway, Ange's latest article had 900,000 hits. So she's pretty proud of that one.
Wow.
And
nice.
Loab is basically a generative AI character that, in all intents and purposes, seems like just came out of nowhere. It just came out of the internet. It's all a bit weird and sinister and yeah. But But anyway, as you know, Ange is sort of deals in the occult. No, that's not true. But she does, she does go into weird and wonderful areas in Schmeitgeist, and Blurt was the show that we named when she was on here. But no, on Schmeitgeist.
That was our segment. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, she's I think she just did a background briefing on Loeb. So if you want to get the podcast on that, it's background briefing. Try saying that 6 times fast. So yeah. Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. And what about you over there? Are you catching up in anything that's happening over here? Or it's all Vietnam this and Vietnam that?
I'm still in both camps at the moment. So because Australia's still so recent, only a couple of days ago since arriving in Vietnam, but now my head's right into all the Vietnamese culture and everything else. But I have been keeping up a little bit. I know Albo has got COVID again, the second time this year. So I'm assuming and hoping he's doing well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
also
I'm making
the interest rates have gone up again today.
Yes, up to 3.1, I believe.
I'll let you go.
No,
Correct. Good old delays. You gotta love it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But yeah, no, you're right about Albo. To be honest with you, I don't know any more than
Reminds
that.
me of the old satellite crosses for TV entertainment shows where you'd wait.
Very much so. Very much so. It's fun and games trying to work out what the next person's going to say. And I think we've lost Wencee again. Shit. We lost him before the show. I think we've lost him again.
I've lost you.
Oh, no, he's back. He's back. Yeah, that internet you've got over there in Vietnam that I was saying was pretty damn good before. It's just gone completely shit instantaneously. I don't know what's going on. Can you? Yeah.
No,
can you hear me?
I'm still here, but
yeah, you still.
I'm here, but very much delayed. So
yes, very much delayed. Well, what I was going to say was Albo with COVID is a 10 times better
sure
Prime Minister than ScoMo ever was when he was fully fit.
I do every now and then.
That's good. What do you do?
43. What was the question? Sorry. This is going to be a very
wonderful,
entertaining show tonight.
Yes, it's fantastic. It's excellent. No, it's brilliant. Oh, that's better. I think we might be all right in a minute. Hopefully.
Yes. Let's hope so.
Yes. Yeah, you've come back. So let's see how long that lasts.
Yay.
No, I was going to talk
Where
about
were we?
The ScoMo censure.
Ah, yes, that was around just before we left.
It's like I don't know why they bother. Why do they even bother? And then and on his way out, the conga line of liberal suckholes, shake his hand as well done, dude, for having 6 ministries. No one's ever done that before. That's a feat. Well done, you dickhead. But just totally gutless, just completely gutless. Oh yeah, talking about gutless, I don't know if you've heard the latest, but Orange Head over there in the the divided states, he's just said, you'll love this one. He's just said that what they need to do is terminate the Constitution and overturn the 2020 election.
Right, of course, because that's going to fix up America.
Yeah, absolutely.
Burn the Constitution.
Yeah.
That might not be a bad idea. They might hopefully get rid of the the right to bear arms. So that might be a good thing.
That would be good, and they should get rid of the Fifth Amendment too.
Oh, which one's that one?
Oh, that's where you just you go on the stand. I think in a civil. I think it's either civil or criminal. I can't remember which one. I think it's a civil court. You can do a Fifth Amendment if you're going to incriminate yourself. You can just say, "I plead the Fifth," which
then you don't have to give evidence.
Correct. Orange Head has done probably more times in his life than every single other person combined, I would have thought.
So he's an expert, right? Okay.
Oh, he is. He's pleaded the Fifth so many times. And personally, I don't think that law should exist. I think you should be able to be prosecuted properly, and you should have to answer the questions. I think that's total bullshit. So maybe he's right. Maybe you're right. Maybe we should terminate. They should terminate their constitution. Maybe that's a good idea. I hadn't really thought about it before, but you know.
Yeah.
I do have some good news as well. Some good Blurt news. I was saying a couple of weeks ago that it would be great if we can get to 5,000 downloads by the end of the year. That'd just be a nice, nice end of the year. And at that time, we needed 280 downloads to get to 5,000. And I've been doing a bit of checking our stats, seeing what's going on, being slightly confused about certain things. And then I had a bit of a look-see at a few things, and I went, well, that's really interesting because I'm not seeing the podcast that we just did last week go up as much as I thought it would. But our actual numbers of downloads in 1 week went up by 100 or something. And I was just like, okay. Yeah. So what's happening is, and I know this is, it may be slightly news to you. It's definitely news to me. I just didn't think about it, to be honest. What's happening is that lots of new and old, and we picked up a few more followers this week as well, and are picking up old episodes. So we've got some old episodes that are just going up and up and up and up in downloads. And so that's what's been happening. Awesome. Yeah, so it is. So we went from needing 280 to only needing 100 in a week. So I was it's quite chuffed about that. So that was good.
So we haven't quite reached the 5,000.
No, but we may by Christmas. We may.
Closer.
Yeah, I reckon by Christmas.
Awesome.
There's a good chance we will. So,
let's hope we can push it for this week.
Yeah, absolutely, because we want to do a nice Christmas special. It'll be interesting what you're doing over there in Vietnam for Christmas. So what I'll do, I'll just play this, and then we'll come straight back and we'll start talking all things Vietnam.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday night, live from around 8 p.m.
It is live. It is. So, as we said, you are in Vietnam, and I have a few pickies that you might be able to narrate for us, which would be quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll pop them up.
Oh, yes,
and you can
tell us a bit of the story. You know I'm a big fan of show and tell.
I know you are. So
yes.
That'd be pretty
cool. Right.
So who's that handsome gentleman?
Oh, let me get rid of this banner.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Oh, that sounds, I don't know about handsome, but not having a great hair day by the looks of it. But
Departures.
that was me and my family.
Sydney. Yeah, so no, that's an interesting question.
So just before we go into immigration.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question in itself. What can you? I thought you'd be able to go to Vietnam straight from Queensland.
Mm-hmm. You can. It does cost more and not as frequent flights. So we ended up just getting cheaper flights to get to Sydney. Now, of course, that did mean we had to wake up super early in Brisbane at 5 a.m. To get to Sydney by 11 to then depart Sydney at 4 p.m. So, yeah, there was a lot of waiting around.
And how long's the actual flight to Vietnam?
About 9 hours, so 8.5 or 9 hours, depends on the winds. I think when we come back, it might be about the same because it's essentially north-south. So I don't think there's much difference either direction.
Right.
Yeah,
And
and
that is
that's the view from our bedroom of our complex. So what's interesting in Vietnam, especially here in Ho Chi Minh City, is that there are a lot of complexes where apartment complexes. It's centered around an entertainment area, like you can see in the photo there. There's a swimming pool, that white building, and on the right-hand side, there's a gym, there's a pool table, and there's outdoor exercise equipment that you can use. And there's at least 5 or 6 buildings around each of these in these blocks. Most apartments are about 20 to 30 stories high, so it's very, very high density, but they still provide you with all this entertainment. Now you're in the pool at midday because it's just too bloody hot, but you do see people out there early morning or this time of day actually in the afternoon. So there's people, if I turn around and look outside, yeah, there's people playing tennis. Actually, no, we just had a downpour about before going live, so no one's playing tennis. They're squidgying the tennis courts, but there are people in the pool. So
yeah. Oh, well, there will be people.
yeah, so it's
I'm assuming it's a cool pool. It's not a heated pool. I assume. I don't know.
yeah, it wouldn't be heated. No, yeah, I don't think it needs heating.
No,
Not with the temperatures
no, I wouldn't have.
you experience
I
here during the day. Even though this is their cooler season.
I noticed
Yeah,
how
so
they've
that's what
got.
we get woken up to every morning, which is quite nice, quite pleasant.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's lovely looking at all those buildings on the left-hand side and all those power lines, those massive pylons. That's it's a lovely view.
Yeah, and the rubbish that's on the side of the road if you actually walk there.
Nice, nice. It's got that Asian smell.
That's the thing about. Yeah, that's the thing with Vietnam. You see the story of two halves, the ones that do have and the ones that don't. So you see a lot of expats. We've seen a lot of whiteys and going to their morning commute to work. And speaking of morning, this has been our last 2 breakfasts where we have a pork meatball soup. It's called bun cha, and yeah, quite nice, all fresh herbs and lettuce.
Looking at that, I would have thought you should lose half your weight by the time you come back.
I'm hoping so.
That looks pretty damn.
Although it may be counted by
beer.
So if we go to the next photo.
I will. That looks amazing, though. That looks fantastic. Bun cha. Is it bun cha? Is that right?
It's really delicious.
Yeah, it looks good.
I feel like some now, actually.
What will you have
I'm
for
hoping
dinner
that
tonight?
I'm
What
not
will you have
losing
tonight?
the
Will you
connection
have
to you guys because I am struggling on this side with internet.
You are.
Can you hear me? Earth, or no, Vietnam to Kegsta. Can you hear me?
Check the private chat.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, right. Okay. Because I couldn't hear anything from your side.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
So if we go to the next page.
Oh.
Who's that? Jeez. That was me getting beaten up. So I asked for a bit stronger for massage. And then, yeah, when I looked later on in the day, I went, oh my goodness, she's really beaten me up.
Are you kidding or taking the piss?
No, this is true. This is my back after a massage. I don't know what she used. No, that was. I don't know what she used. Whether she had really strong knuckles or what or elbows. No idea.
In Australia, that's called abuse.
But I did pay for it. So what does that make it?
I don't know.
Masochist? Sure. I don't know.
Yeah, masochist. Yeah. How did you feel afterwards, apart from in pain?
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Wow.
Because it was nearly a 24-hour journey between Brisbane and landing in Vietnam and into our apartment. so I was carrying my backpack the whole time when we were standing and not in the plane. So yeah, the massage was really good yesterday, just to iron out those kinks, and I could feel all the knots that had turned up in the last 24 hours.
Oh, that's
So it was
crazy.
pleasant. Yeah.
Wow, geez whiz, I thought you were taking the piss. Wow, they actually
No,
did
no,
do that.
no. Yeah.
All right, talk us through it.
So
What
this
are we
was our
looking
dinner
at?
last night. Okay. So our local friends that we've known for many years who lived in Brisbane took us out to a barbecue dinner just locally after he played tennis. We joined him for this barbecue. So on the left, we've got barbecue duck. So you can, it was marinated in herbs. I don't know what herbs it was because they don't know how to translate it into English.
Was it good?
But really, really delicious. On the right-hand side and the bottom left, you've got sticky rice in bamboo. So they cook, put sticky rice in bamboo over coal.
Oh, wow.
On rocks or whatever, and yeah, the flavors are just so delicious, and you can dip it in various sauces, but one of my favorites is when you mix lemon, pepper and lime juice, make it into a little paste, and you dip anything in that, whether it's the rice or the beef that's just above the rice. There is beef lemongrass, again cooked in the barbecue.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, the meat's just so tender.
So
There's just nothing fatty.
So they
in
love
any of that.
They love about barbecue, because I'm not used to Vietnamese barbecuing so much. I'm used to having a lot of soups and all those sort of things. But I love Vietnamese, but I didn't realize they barbecued so much.
Yeah, no, they do quite a lot of barbecues around. Even on our last trip, various places we did barbecues. I still remember one place where our friends took us, where tourists never ever go, and we had to go on a little hike for about 20-30 minutes in the hills. And there's a little hot spring. I wouldn't call it a hot spring, but there's just water coming out naturally.
Yeah.
And people, you just go in there and bathe yourself and stuff like that. But they brought some live chickens, and they killed it, they plucked it, and then we had a barbecue. They lit a fire.
Did they do that
cooked it while we're all having fun? So yeah.
Did they do that in front of you though? Did you see that happen, or they do it before
I turned
you?
away.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. Yeah,
I don't look at that. I can't look at it. But yes, yeah.
You're one of those many, and there's many of them hypocritical meat eaters.
Yes, they grow in trees, so that's I think how it works, doesn't it?
Yes, something like that. Something like. Is out of our wonderful slides. Is that our last slide?
So
oh, that's a shame.
I think that was our last slide, but
we need
what
more
I don't have
slides.
photos because I didn't get any photos at the time, but we need more slides. So as part of that dinner last night, what they do a lot here in Vietnam, at least what I've experienced when I've traveled with my friends, is my friends' tennis mates were sitting on another table, and so as part of the friendships, what you end up doing is you end up joining their table. You have a couple of beers together, and you go 1, 2, 3, cheers, and you take a swig or take a shot, whatever it is you're drinking, and then you just chat and laugh and joke around, and then you go back to your table, and then they come back to you, and then you go through the same process, and you say 1, 2, 3, cheers, slam it down, and then you separate, and then you come back 5 minutes later, and the whole process. So when you were saying about losing weight with the healthy food, it gets counteracted by all the beer that you end up drinking, or whiskey. So yes, I'm going to have to balance it out with long walks.
Nice work. I'm going to have to just put some lights on here, so you're going to have to just speak to the people for a second, or you're going to lose me completely. So.
Okay. Getting a bit dark there.
Yes, slightly. As
you can see, not dark here. It's only 4:30, so people are still very much active and getting out and about. And I might even, the Kegsta is doing all of that. I'm going to see if I can show you the little complex that we're in. So it's not a lie. It wasn't a photo that I took or grabbed from the internet. So that is the pool. And the city centre, I believe, is in that direction. Some heavy clouds coming. It might rain. I don't know. Might see some storms and heavy rain later on, but it did rain earlier. You're going to have to watch this later on, Kegsta, but I just did a quick tour of the window of our view outside while you walk away.
I will watch it. Don't worry about that. I'll definitely be watching that. So
yeah.
So what else you've got to tell us about Vietnam?
What else? It's just one of those things that I will have ready for you next week's show. The chaos of what it's like to be on the roads where there's just no road rules, motorbikes heading in your direction at intersections, trucks coming right at you, and then somehow everyone just avoids each other and they just go around each other. It's a sight to be seen, and it's even worse if you're on a motorbike experiencing it. So I will see if I can get footage of that.
Just don't die.
What else is happening? I'll try not to. At least hopefully it'll be fun if it does happen.
No, it won't be fun. I'll lose my co-host.
Yeah, true.
So
I'll do my best not to die.
Yeah, no, do that. Definitely. Good decision. Don't die. What's the main religion over there?
I believe it's Buddhism. It is Buddhism because you see monks all over. Not so much in the city. I haven't seen many, but when you're out in the villages and other towns, you see a lot more monks walking around. So a lot of temples. I've seen a few Hindu temples in the city when we were out yesterday, but not many. But yeah, it's mainly Buddhism.
So for you being over there for the next month, have you sort of got a plan for each week of sort of what you're going to do, or is it a loose plan, or is it just the friends
There's
that
a
you
loose
do
plan.
over there will sort of...
Yeah. So there's a loose plan as to where we want to go. We know certain locations we want to go. We want to go to the Delta, Mekong Delta, for example.
Oh, wow.
Stay a few nights there.
How far is that from Ho Chi Minh City?
I think it's a couple of 100 kilometers, so
Yeah,
a few hours drive. I've been there before a long time ago, but it'll be interesting to see what it's like now. The last time we went, I think we went to Can Tho, one of the towns near the Mekong Delta. I remember doing a tour on the river where we got to hold a boa constrictor on our necks, which are really, really heavy.
Yeah.
Got to see people making little palm sugar lollies.
Oh, wow.
Or no, it was coconut. It was coconut lollies. Really delicious. So maybe we'll see if we can do stuff like that again, or something equivalent. Maybe if we've got time, we'll try to get to the beach halfway up the Vietnam. It's called Nha Trang or Da Nang. Any of those two would be happy to go to. So we've got loose plans. There's quite a number of craft breweries I want to get to here in Saigon, which are worth visiting. So we'll see what we can do.
And did Vietnamese in the alcohol side of things, do they make a lot of their own alcohol as well? Do they do like their own sort of whiskies and gins and things, or?
Yeah, they definitely do whiskies. Our last two trips was pretty much whiskey shots every time we went out for lunch or dinner. So,
nice.
I don't know. Except for when they started driving soon after.
So, Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the fact that I'm still here is probably testament to their tolerance, maybe, to whiskey.
Yes, I'm thinking so.
But having said that, they don't really travel that fast, even in the cities. Yes, that's what it was like when I was in the car going, "Oh my god!"
I can imagine. I can
Especially
totally
after
imagine.
Christmas, when we went out last time. But yes, yeah, so they don't really travel fast. So it's surprising that they don't have that many accidents that we've seen, despite the chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we've been over 60 k's an hour since we've arrived here.
Well, I was going to say you couldn't, could you? There's just too much going on. Like you couldn't. It's like
Yeah, it's just too crowded.
Yeah.
Density is just too much.
what's the population of Ho Chi Minh City?
That is a very contentious because my friend was saying he believes it's about 9 or 10 million
Jesus.
officially,
Yeah.
but I reckon it's got to be at least 12 million unofficially.
Wow.
Like a lot of these big Asian cities, you get a lot of people who come from the country looking for works, and
Yeah.
they're not officially on the record.
Yeah.
That they live there. So that's why I think you look out on the streets and the density just it's got to be more than X million.
Yeah.
So
Well, what's the whole pop of
yeah,
Vietnam?
my suspicion it's about 12 million, but yeah, he was saying he's around that. I don't know. It's tens of million.
Right. Okay.
Anyone listening out there, if you want to Google it for us, but yes, I reckon it'd be 60 to 70 million at least.
Okay. So my next question is,
That's
how
my
big
guess.
how big is Vietnam as a geography compared to Australia?
So I reckon the length of it is roughly between Melbourne and Brisbane. Because
Okay.
it's a couple of hours flight between Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what
So-
about the width of it, sort of thing?
Not very wide, 1,000 kilometers. It depends because it snakes
Wow.
around as it goes up north. So there's some parts
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
really narrow, like where the DMZ was between North and South Vietnam during the war. I think that section's pretty narrow. But as you get further down south, it's a lot wider. Yeah. So
Well,
we have a
Vicky.
comment. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Vicky's saying to us that it's 98 million. That is freaking
Million.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a small place. 98 million. That's just phenomenal. So yeah, it makes sense
Yeah.
that you're only doing
Which is why
60 k's.
Which is why I reckon. Yeah, which is why I reckon Saigon's really got more than 12 million. It's
Yeah,
got to.
yeah.
I think it's their biggest city.
Well, you were talking. Oh, Ho Chi Minh.
Even Hanoi not as big as here.
Yeah. You were talking before about chaos. Do they have any?
And that's something else that I learned that. Yes.
Yeah. No. It's just
No, you go.
chaos.
Chaos?
Are they having Christmas chaos there? Is Christmas a big thing in Vietnam? Do they celebrate it?
They do celebrate it. They do. They don't have the holidays like we do. They don't have all those celebrations, but you see the decorations everywhere. So the bigger the shopping center or shopping mall, the more decorations you'll see. Yeah, so no baby cheeses anywhere, but they do love the Christmas. They do love the Christmas cheer and all
so
cute stuff like bunnies and characters and whatever.
Anyone listening on the pod, Wencee was referring to baby cheeses because Kath and Kim, a very well-known comedy, one of the girls used to always say the baby cheeses, not the baby Jesus. So that's where that came from. And yeah, very nice
Reference, yes.
Okay, so no baby cheeses. But do you see much red at all? I mean, is there many decorations around, or I noticed when you looked out the window before, I wasn't seeing. I mean, like I saw a picture of what's happening in Covent Garden the other day. It's just ridiculous in London.
Yeah, there's a lot of red and green, like your traditional Christmas decoration type thing, but I don't know. Red is on their flag, so maybe they do a lot more red than green. But yeah, it's just your normal traditional decorations. It's no different. You still get the wreaths with Merry Christmas on it.
No,
tinsel,
I just thought they might have
massive Christmas trees.
I thought they might have some quintessential Vietnamese, like Christmas traditions or sort of Christmas decorations, or are they sort of just going down the mainstream side of things?
This is mainstream. It's very much American culture as well. So yeah, so there'll be a lot of the whatever Americans do. So white Christmas trees everywhere, or green trees with the white snowflake snow decorated onto the trees. So yeah, it's very American inspired.
All right. Well, for next week's ep, our last ep of the year, if you could get a bit of good oil on a few more details on Christmas there, and we'll work out a few more things and make it a Christmassy show, as it were.
Definitely.
As is our last one of the year.
I will scout locations while we're out and about this week, and yes, definitely we'll hopefully go live from on location somewhere, not here in the apartment.
Yeah, no.
So hopefully somewhere Christmassy and somewhere.
No, that'd be amazing. That'd be absolutely amazing. Now, just need to play this, and then I think we might do some good news. Although most of the stuff that you've talked about is good news, so it'll be more good news.
Good news.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
You know, I got the good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news. You know, I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news.
I do have some good news to share with everyone. And the one I was going to share first was, oh my giddy aunt, I've just had a complete and utter meltdown. My brain has just totally stopped. So I know it's not good. It's not good at all.
Do you want me to go first?
Yes, then? I think you should.
I should? Okay. All right. So I don't know if you guys, anyone watching or listening, saw video footage a few days ago of a shipping container sweeping down a river in New South Wales, down the Bell River, and what was actually in that shipping container was the Wellington Warriors Football Club equipment and other kit that was for the footy club, and it was about $100,000 worth of equipment in that shipping container. And as the locals and the members of the footy club saw it go down the river, they just could see it all just going, literally sinking, losing all that content. But sometime later, they found it 2.5 kilometers from the location where they'd seen it. And yeah, somehow, miraculously, it survived, no damage inside. So contained all the water, none of the water came into it. So they were able to recoup all their kit, so it contained all their blazers, all their jerseys and shoes and whatnot. So yeah, it's quite impressive to not lose all that, despite just seeing it just floating away. So I thought
one of those massive shipping containers was floating down a river.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And wow, and no
Yeah,
water
so
got in at all.
no water, so it was completely sealed.
Well, that's good to know if you ever want to build a house or
Because
something in one of those things.
Yeah, exactly. And I often hear stories, and I'm sure you've heard them, where shipping containers off massive ships that travel over the ocean, they lose containers off board and overboard and go into the ocean, and they get lost.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
always wondered whether they were completely contained, and
Watertight.
does water sink in? Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, always wondered whether they're watertight, and obviously they are, or can be.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, actually. I thought the same. Wow. So it's funny. This is a water-related good news story as well. For the Murray-Darling fish, Menindee Weir open fully for the first time in a decade. So native fish are expected to benefit from a decision to open all 6 gates at the Weir. I might put this one in the show notes because it's not a long article, but it's a great one. It's got some good pickies as well. I might be able to show a couple maybe. But fish and river experts say that the recent opening of the main Weir Menindee will benefit native fish populations, instinctively migrate up and downstream. Hasn't been open fully since 2012, and it means that the native fish can now migrate north and south more easily. A more permanent solution has been promised by the government. Now, Menindee, is this Victoria? Is this New South Wales? It's Murray-Darling. I never quite know. Broken Hills, so I don't know.
It's a long river.
Sorry, is that? Yeah, exactly right. So I'm not exactly sure who would have the responsibility there, but Murray-Darling, as we know, has been a squabble over the water rights of that for the longest time.
Correct.
I've read a couple of essays on that. It's a bit of a dog's breakfast. But anyway, it's the first time, as we said, 10 years. In anticipation of further flooding in the river, outflows from the Weir southeast of Broken Hill have been increased by Water New South Wales over the past few weeks to lower the capacity of the Menindee Lake system. The Basin Authority, Richard Unsworth, said Weir's 6 gates were fully opened by November the 27th, which was a rare occurrence. The gates were out of water when there was a high water back in 2012 for 29 days, and the time before that was in 1998 when they were out of water for 41 days. What I might do, I'll just show a couple of pickies here. So that's the gates we're talking about, the Weir. This is the bridge. It's a pretty cool bridge. Well, a weir, if you like, for the 6 gates they're talking about. And that's a Murray cod, which is among the native fish species benefiting from what we're talking about. So it's pretty cool. And as you say, native fish are the real winners. Based on research that was done previously, the gates were in water by 100 milliliters. That creates a real issue for fish being able to travel, fish being able to travel either north or south up the main Weir, the spokesman said. So basically that's a really cool thing. So, excuse me, sorry, I apologize. I'm going to have to do this. Yeah. And we're back. So as I say, that's only a temporary solution at the moment, but they do have hopes for a permanent alternative, which would be because they're hopeful that regular migration in the system could eventually be restored by the state government funded solution, such as a fish ladder. And that is a structure built on the artificial water barriers, such as the Weir. And it uses a series of small dams and pools to make a long sloping channel for the fish to travel in that direction. So that is some really good news from a fish's point of view.
Yeah, sure.
And and from our native species and our water's point of view, that's some good stuff there. So have you got some off there?
Awesome. I got another one.
Excellent.
A story from Ballarat, Central Victoria. Roughly 60 people sleep rough on any given night in Ballarat, which can drop to below 0 degrees in winter.
Oh, yes, it's very cold in Ballarat.
There.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, very cold. A group of 5 locals managed to raise $100,000 in 6 months, and they purchased and are in the process of fitting out a bus with sleeping pods that they will use for the homeless to sleep in. So there'll be areas where pets can sleep as well within the bus. There'll be areas for them to be able to store any possessions that they have.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Japanese hotel where they're all in little pods. So you get like a little, it's almost
yes.
like
Yes.
enclosure.
We stayed in one.
Yeah.
We stayed in one in New York.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
it was very much
so
like that.
very
much
like
like
that.
Our room was
so they're going to have
tiny,
several,
and they just like stacked all the sort of pots on each other. It was comfortable, though. It was comfortable.
Yeah, I can imagine. But if you're claustrophobic, I don't know how you sleep well. But yeah, so that's the fit out's currently in process. So hopefully by early 2023 it'll be ready, and it'll be used for the homeless in Ballarat.
Well,
yeah.
Again, that's some more fantastic news for people of Ballarat. And you're right. That is one of the, I think it's the coldest place in Victoria in winter is Ballarat. Well, I mean, obviously you've got the mountains, but I mean, apart from the mountains, I think it's the coldest place. It's just, it gets so cold in Ballarat. It's ridiculous. It's just.
Yeah. I've been there when it's been cold. I was there for a Powderfinger's last concert tour.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was Bendigo. Not Ballarat.
Yeah, Bendigo gets cold too, but Ballarat beats it on the cold side of things.
Ballarat's just What the article doesn't say is how many people it sleeps, but
accommodates.
Looking at some of the photos, it could be a dozen or so people could sleep in there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like there's 10 rows and maybe 2 or 3 in height, so 20 or 30 perhaps.
Are they looking at getting like a fleet of these buses? Is that the idea?
I'm guessing so. I did see something. Yeah, so they're going to move that towards New South Wales, Queensland as well, so along Byron Bay and Harvey Bay. So the project's going to happen around there too. So it looks like it's going to expand, which is good.
It is good. It is. Anytime we can help.
That's really good news.
Those that need help is a good thing. Actually, talking about those that need help, it's really interesting. We found out a few things this week. We've been trying to be, well, not tokenistic, but altruistic, but I suppose almost tokenistically altruistic, in that we have been trying to donate our time to help on Christmas Day, to go to a charity and sort of help with food and all those sort of things. But there's a friend of Ness's that sort of knows, sort of people high up in different not-for-profit charities, etc. And he said, when did you want to help? And we said, Christmas. He said, what, this Christmas? And he was talking to this person 6 months ago. He said, I don't know, it's sort of like a tourist thing to a certain, it's like it just totally books out. You can't help anywhere. But I think what that did though is that just kicked my own ass and went, yeah, okay. So what that's saying is that, okay, it is Christmas and you want to help, but really you should be trying to help throughout the rest of the year as well. where you can, So
yeah,
so maybe
not
that's
just 1 day a year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's what I mean. And I mean, we donate to quite a lot of things, and and we try to give to different not for profits that seem like they're doing the right thing. Like say, Oz Harvest is a really good one. They do 50 cents a meal. So so anyone who listens to this podcast, go to the Oz Harvest website, have a look. 50 cents a meal. You can give a meal to someone for 50 cents. So yes, you can spend $50 and they get 100 meals, and I reckon that's $50 very, very well spent. So
maybe skip out on a coffee once a week and donate that to Oz Harvest.
Absolutely, absolutely, in a heartbeat. It is a really, really good not for profit. But talking about something else that's not altruistic, but it's really, really good to see. As you know, I dabble in a bit of theatre here and there, and I'll be doing another show in March this year. We're starting doing the workshopping.
Exciting.
Yes, it is a bit exciting. It always gets nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time.
When do I get my tickets? When do I get to buy tickets?
No. If you're coming down, I'll buy you the tickets. That's not a problem. That's no worries. If you're coming down, whoever you...
No, I'm happy to pay for it.
No. That's absolutely very, very, very least I could do. And you've got a bed as well, so that's fine.
Yes. Well, I was there for your show earlier this year.
Yes. It was this year, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. Earlier this year. Smart.
Yeah, no, that was good. This one, is an interesting one, but I'm not going to talk any more about it. I'll talk about it at a later stage when we sort of get into next year. But what I wanted to talk to you about was theatre, because there's a new inclusive space for next-gen actors with disabilities and mental illness. So next-gen theatricals enthusiastic cast, and I'll show you the cast. That's the cast. Rehearsing for their debut musical production, and this is in just having a look where this is. It's directorial debut. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Sale Theatre Company producing a stage musical version of the cult teen movie Heathers, which is I think it's about some bullying girls. I think Heathers is. I think it's something like that. It's a pretty good movie. I can't remember who's in it. I don't know if Lindsay Lohan was in it, or I can't remember, but it was a good film.
Sure.
But Stacey Richardson was inspired to create an inclusive space. She's the director, to champion the talents of actors with disability or mental illness. So the theatre company Next Gen Theatrical was born in July, and I'm thinking that can't be this July, surely. You're going to do a musical? Oh, I suppose you could do 6 months. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
And for those who are wondering where, that's possible. For those wondering, Sale is in Eastern Victoria on the coast.
Yes, it very much is in Eastern.
300?
Yeah, it's a fair way away. It's a hole. No, it's a wonderful place. And it's a wonderful place. Winona Ryder. Okay.
There we go.
Winona Ryder. Yeah.
And Christian Slater.
I liked. Yes. I know it's a great movie. I totally agree. I'm talking to Vicky, who is giving us a bit of information, and she was just saying Heathers is one of her favourite movies, and I agree with her. It's a very good movie. But with 80% of the cast of Heathers living with mental illness or physical disability, Miss Richardson and her team saw an opportunity to expand into inclusive arts, which I think is absolutely magnificent. And that's why I sort of, got so upset regarding the pandemic that they got such little funding, considering how important the arts are for mental health and, and physical and everything else. And it's not just the arts as well. It's like the horticultural world is incredible for mental health and physical disabilities, all that sort of stuff. But it all just gets
sure.
wiped under the carpet, and it never gets funded properly. And I don't understand why.
Because sport is more important.
Oh, yeah, of
It's
course.
sport. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know. Well, Australia's now out of the World Cup, so hopefully they'll stop talking about it. They'll stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Nah, only the diehards who want to talk about it. Anyway, the rehearsal schedule is a bit longer than normal. Sorry, go for it.
Mm-hmm. No, you go.
No, I was just going to say the rehearsal schedule is a bit longer than normal. Rehearsal schedule would be because they have to do things differently, as you would imagine, which accommodates the needs of NDIS participants, wheelchair users, and predominantly people with hidden disabilities. So this is just awesome. This is so good. I'm so completely wrapped about this. This is fantastic. So I don't have time.
Are they going to?
Yep.
Are they going to tour around Victoria? Do you think? Does it say anything about that?
Such a good question, but I imagine it would be really difficult for them to do that for lots of reasons. And unless they got some funding, that would be one big reason. And I would imagine just the probably maybe the accommodations they would need would make it really hard as well to tour, because they've probably gone out of their way to make it a space so they can do the show, etc., and sail. So, but it'd be fantastic if they could do that. And I'm sure just the fact that other people with disabilities and just people in general could go and see the show, which I would go and see in a heartbeat. So,
or at the very least, maybe even take the concept to other towns and do the same thing.
Yes, well, I'm just having a look here, and facilitating tactile tours, finding accessible venues to practice and perform in, working with disability groups, and making sure productions are inclusive from outset are also core business of the next-gen theatrical model. So many venues, community groups, businesses, public event organisers now putting accessibility and inclusion at the forefront of their planning. Ms. Richardson said that there was some slow but positive progress for the people living with disabilities over the past 30 years. And I think unless you've got anything else you want to talk about there, that's probably almost not a bad way to go out.
Yeah, that's very nice. I think.
Well, we might not do it quite that loud.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was really good news. So happy with that. Happy with that.
Yeah, no, a lot of good news there happening this week.
So basically, so your movements this week, you're out of your apartment this week, is that right?
That's a bit personal. Geesh. My movements. Wow. Okay. I knew we were close, but not that close.
Very good.
Sorry, dad jokes.
Very good. Very good.
Definitely on the cards this week is discovering a few craft breweries.
Yes.
The tennis mates from last night's dinner, we committed to going to one or two places this weekend, apparently. Let's see if that comes through.
But you can't remember if you committed or not?
We'll do some recordings and hopefully do some interviews. That I remember. I don't think they will remember. That they were just if you look underneath their table, you would have seen about at least 30 or 40 cans of empty beer cans. So
God,
yeah, that's just crazy.
Are these like local people or white friends or what's the?
Yeah, no, local Vietnamese.
Wow.
Yeah. Varying. Some of them own local small business. Some are professional. Yeah, but they love playing tennis, which is how they met my friend. So that's how they got to know each other. So the love of tennis
and drinking, obviously,
has brought them together. And yeah, whenever they play tennis, they just have a beer and drinking session. I think they spend more on the drinking session than they do in the tennis membership.
It definitely, I would imagine, it definitely sounds that way. Definitely sounds. It sounds like they're probably better at drinking than they are at tennis.
Yes, I did. I was watching the tennis last night as they were playing pre-dinner, and my friend was better of all of them, and he's pretty good. I don't play tennis, but well, if I do, it's pretty shit. But yeah, he was pretty good, my friend. So compared to the rest of that crew, yeah, he was number one.
Nice. Well, look, people, that is the end of your show tonight, and I am trying to do something, and it's not happening. There it is. There we go. Yep, so that's the end of the show tonight. As I say, next week will be our Christmas show. We'll try to make it as Christmassy as we can. So join us for that at the same sort of time, around about 8 p.m. We were a little bit later tonight because we had no Wencee before we went live, so we had to get Wencee back. But
I literally lost the internet.
You literally did. And I literally thought I was going it alone for a little while, and hopefully you join in, but I didn't have to, so that was good. Okay, so yes, that's awesome. So yes, sorry, go for it. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
No, nothing. I was just laughing.
Right. No. So we've had some wonderful tennis ourselves tonight. We've been playing Zoom tennis, and it's
a good one.
Yes, it's been interesting trying to get the delay right. But anyway, Wencee will be back with us next week with a bit of luck, and and he can tell us about his adventures and what's going on, and hopefully coming from a pretty cool place, and maybe even with beer in hand. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes, possibly.
And that'll be our last episode for the year of 2022. So not just a Christmas episode. So we might. Yeah, it has. We might go through a whole bunch of weird and wonderful things that happened in 2022. That could be quite an interesting thing to do as well.
Yeah.
To close up the end of the year. So there you go.
Exactly.
So it's good night from me.
And if I knew how to say it, good night from me from Vietnam.
You will be able to next week though, won't you?
Adios. Yes, I